The unexpected invasion, Captain Elena. Rodriguez was enjoying her morning coffee aboard the orbital defense station Guardian's Watch when the universe decided to end humanity's peaceful existence. The alarm started screaming at 0847 hours, standard time, and they didn't stop screaming for the next 6 hours. Captain, you need to see this immediately, called out Lieutenant James Park from the sensor station, his voice cracking with barely contained panic. Elena set down her mug and walked quickly to the main display, her military training taking over even as her mind struggled to process what she was seeing. The holographic display showed space beyond Pluto's orbit, where something impossible was happening. Ships were materializing out of nothing, massive vessels that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. They appeared to be emerging from some kind of dimensional gateway, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metallic sheen that seemed to bend light around them. How many? Elena asked, though she was already counting the dots on the display and didn't like the answer she was getting. 237 confirmed contacts, Captain. Still more coming through. Park's fingers danced across his controls, trying to get better readings. Each ship is approximately 3 kilometers in length. Their energy signatures are off the charts. Elena felt her stomach drop. The entire Earth defense fleet consisted of 42 ships, and their largest vessel was barely half a kilometer long. Whatever was out there had just announced humanity's complete military irrelevance with a simple show of force. Communications, try to establish contact, she ordered, moving to the command chair. And get me a direct line to Earth Command. They need to know about this immediately. The next few minutes were a blur of activity as her crew worked frantically to understand what they were facing. The alien ships had stopped emerging from their gateway and were now arranged in a perfect formation, their weapons powered but not yet targeting anything. They were waiting for something, though Elena couldn't imagine what. Captain, we're receiving a transmission, announced Communications Officer Sarah Chen. It's on multiple frequencies, including several we didn't know existed. The signal is being automatically translated, somehow. Put it through, Elena ordered, steeling herself for humanity's first contact with an alien species. The main screen flickered and revealed a being that looked like it had crawled out of humanity's darkest nightmares. The creature had 4 arms, each ending in clawed hands, and its head was an elongated skull with glowing red eyes. When it spoke, its voice was like grinding metal mixed with the whisper of wind through a graveyard. Primitive beings of the 3rd planet, the alien announced. I am War Commander Thaxkilith of the Korthax Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our galactic domain. You will surrender immediately and prepare for processing, or we will demonstrate why resistance is futile. Elena looked around the bridge at her crew. Every face showed the same mixture of fear and determination she felt burning in her own chest. They had trained for this moment, though nobody had. I really believed it would come. This is Captain Elena Rodriguez of Earth Defense, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. We request time to consider your ... offer. The alien's expression shifted into what might have been amusement. You request time? Your species possesses 42 vessels of laughably primitive design. We have brought 247 ships, each capable of reducing your entire planet to molten slag. What consideration could possibly be required? Elena felt a cold smile cross her face. The alien's intelligence was good, but not perfect. They knew about the defense fleet, but they didn't know everything. Commander, we appreciate your directness, but humanity doesn't make decisions hastily. We'll need 24 hours to respond properly. You have 6 of your hours, Thaxkilith snarled. Then we begin cleansing operations whether you cooperate or not. The transmission ended, leaving Elena staring at a black screen while her mind raced through possibilities. 6 hours wasn't much time, but it might be enough. She turned to her communications officer. Sarah, I need you to send a coded message. To Earth Command, use Protocol 7. Protocol 7 was something they had hoped never to use. It had been developed 20 years ago when long-range sensors first detected signs of advanced civilizations in nearby star systems. The protocol was simple. If Earth was ever faced with an overwhelming alien threat, certain hidden preparations would be activated. Message at Captain, Sarah confirmed. Earth Command acknowledges and confirms Protocol 7 is now active. Elena nodded and turned to address her crew. People, what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest levels. For the past 2 decades, humanity has been preparing for exactly this situation. What you see around you, our orbital stations and defense fleet, this is what we wanted potential enemies to see. This is our public military. Lieutenant Park looked confused. Captain, what do you mean by our public military? I mean, James, that everything these aliens are looking at represents about 15% of humanity's actual defensive capability. The other 85% has been hidden in deep space installations, underground facilities, and stealth platforms that don't appear on any sensor reading. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Elena continued, those 42 ships they counted, they're real and are good ships, but they're also a decoy. While aliens focus on our visible fleet, our real military assets remain undetected. Over the next few hours, Elena watched as her crew transformed from frightened defenders into confident warriors. The knowledge that humanity wasn't as helpless as they appeared gave them hope, and hope was a powerful weapon. The alien fleet moved closer to Earth, maintaining their intimidating formation. Elena could see them conducting scans of human installations, documenting what they believed to be humanity's full military strength. They had no idea they were looking at an elaborate deception that had taken decades to perfect. Captain, Sarah called out, we're getting reports from the outer system. 3 alien scouts have separated from the main fleet and are approaching Jupiter. Elena smiled. Jupiter was where things would get interesting. Are our friends at Station Prometheus ready for visitors? Station Prometheus reports all systems green and ready for engagement, Sarah confirmed. Station Prometheus was officially a deep space research facility studying Jupiter's moons. Unofficially, it was humanity's most advanced weapons testing platform, hidden inside what appeared to be a simple scientific outpost. The aliens were about to get their first real look at human military technology. The encounter at Jupiter lasted exactly 17 minutes. The 3 Korthak scouts approached the research station, confident that a simple scientific outpost posed no threat to their advanced warships. They were wrong. Station Prometheus revealed itself to be something far more dangerous than a research facility. Advanced particle beam weapons emerged from hidden compartments, targeting systems that the aliens couldn't detect locked onto their ships, and humanity's first combat use of quantum entangled. Guidance systems turned their missiles into unavoidable death sentences. All 3 scout ships were disabled within minutes, their crews captured alive, but their vessels completely helpless. More importantly, the engagement was recorded from every possible angle and transmitted back to the main Korthak's fleet. Captain, we're receiving another transmission from War Commander Thaxkillith, Sarah announced. This time, the alien's expression showed considerably less arrogance and considerably more confusion. Humans, the alien said slowly, your research station possessed military capabilities that our scans did not detect. This is ... unexpected. Elena appeared on screen again, still smiling that cold smile. Commander, I told you that humanity doesn't make decisions hastily. We also don't reveal all our capabilities immediately. Your scouts are unharmed but captured. Consider this a demonstration that we're not quite as primitive as you assumed. The alien's red eyes seemed to burn brighter. You destroyed 3 Korthak's warships with a single space station. This suggests your true military strength may be greater than our intelligence indicated. Our true military strength, Elena replied carefully, is sufficient to defend our world. The question is whether you want to find out exactly what that means. The transmission ended, and Elena knew the real test was coming. The aliens would now probe Earth's defenses more carefully, trying to determine humanity's actual capabilities. What they would find would either convince them to leave peacefully, or provoke them into launching a full-scale attack. Either way, humanity was ready. The 42 ships of the defense fleet were moving into position, their crews prepared to fight against impossible odds. But they wouldn't be fighting alone. Hidden throughout the solar system, humanity's true military was awakening from decades of concealment. Admiral Marcus Chen, commanding the secret deep space fleet from his flagship Invisible Hand, received Elena's situation report with grim satisfaction. 20 years of preparation were about to be tested against an enemy that had no idea what they were really facing. The secret fleet revealed Admiral Marcus Chen had been waiting in the shadows of space for 23 years, 4 months and 16 days. Today, finally, his patience would be rewarded. From the bridge of the Invisible Hand, a ship that officially didn't exist, Marcus watched as the Korthax Empire made the same mistake that had destroyed countless civilizations before them. They were judging humanity by what they could see, not by what they couldn't. Admiral, all deep space assets are reporting ready status, announced Commander Lisa Torres, his second in command. Operation Guardian Protocol is fully activated across all sectors. Marcus nodded, his eyes never leaving the tactical display. The alien fleet was moving into Earth's orbit with the confidence of a predator approaching wounded prey. They had scanned the 42 ships of Earth's defense fleet and concluded that humanity was hopelessly outmatched. In terms of visible military assets, they were absolutely correct. How many ships do we have hidden in the outer system? Marcus asked, though he knew the answer by heart. 137 vessels in the primary deep space fleet, Torres replied. Another 86 ships in the secondary stealth formations, plus 43 mobile weapons platforms that the enemy still hasn't detected. And our technological advantage? Conservative estimates suggest our weapons are 40 years ahead of theirs. Our defensive systems are 60 years advanced, and our tactical adaptability is beyond their comprehension, Torres smiled grimly. They've been the dominant galactic power for so long that they stopped innovating. We've been innovating for 2 decades, specifically to counter threats like them. On the main display, Marcus could see Captain Elena Rodriguez's defense fleet, moving into what appeared to be a desperate last stand formation around Earth. To the aliens, it looked like humanity's final, pathetic attempt at resistance. In reality, it was the opening move of the most sophisticated military deception. Human history. Sir, the Korthax fleet is beginning their attack run, reported Lieutenant Kevin Walsh from the sensor station. They're targeting our orbital installations first, trying to eliminate our infrastructure before dealing with the defense fleet. Marcus watched as alien weapons fire began lighting up space around Earth. Energy beams that could vaporize mountains struck human installations, causing spectacular explosions that were visible from the planet's surface. To any observer, it looked like humanity was being systematically destroyed. Magnificent performance, Marcus murmured approvingly. Elle and his people are putting on quite a show. What the aliens didn't realize was that they were destroying elaborate decoys and abandoned structures. Humanity's real orbital infrastructure was hidden, cloaked, or buried deep enough to survive anything short of planet-cracking weapons. The explosions were impressive, but they were destroying targets that had been specifically prepared to be sacrificed. The defense fleet's response was equally deceptive. Captain Rodriguez's ships fought bravely, their weapons scoring hits against alien vessels that seemed to damage but not destroy their targets. The human ships appeared to be giving everything they had while being slowly overwhelmed by superior numbers and firepower. Phase 1 complete, Torres announced. The enemy believes they've neutralized our orbital defenses and are engaging our primary fleet. They're committing their full force to the assault. Excellent. Begin Phase 2. Throughout the solar system, installations that had been hidden for decades began powering up. On the far side of Jupiter, Station Olympus revealed itself to be not a gas mining platform, but a massive weapons array capable of targeting ships across interplanetary distances. Hidden bases in the asteroid belt suddenly came online, their stealth systems deactivating to reveal ship construction facilities that had been building humanity's secret fleet for 20 years. Most importantly, the deep space fleet began moving. Marcus's ships had been positioned throughout the outer solar system, using advanced stealth technology that made them completely invisible to Korthax sensors. Now, as the alien fleet focused entirely on Earth, humanity's true military began closing the trap. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from War Commander Thax Gillith, Walsh announced. He's broadcasting to Earth, demanding immediate surrender. Put it through. Let's see how confident he's feeling. The alien commander appeared on screen, his four arms gesturing triumphantly as explosions lit up space behind him. Humans of Earth, your pathetic resistance is ending. Your orbital defenses are destroyed, your fleet is falling, and your world is defenseless. Surrender now, and we will consider allowing some of your species to survive as servants. Marcus felt a cold anger building in his chest. The arrogance of this creature, threatening to enslave humanity, was about to receive a very rude awakening. Sir, Captain Rodriguez is requesting permission to initiate Phase 3, Torres announced. Granted. Let's show our guests what human hospitality really looks like. What happened next would later be studied in military academies across the galaxy. As the perfect example of strategic deception and overwhelming tactical superiority, the human defense fleet, which had been appearing to fight desperately against superior odds, suddenly revealed capabilities that defied everything the aliens thought they knew about human technology. Ships that had seemed damaged began regenerating their hull plating using nanoscale repair systems. Weapons that had appeared primitive suddenly adapted their frequency and power output to penetrate Korthax shields as if they didn't exist. But that was just the opening act. From every corner of the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet began revealing itself. Ships emerged from stealth, like predators materializing from shadows. What the aliens had thought was empty space suddenly filled with human vessels, their hulls gleaming with technology that seemed decades ahead of anything the Korthax possessed. My God, breathed Lieutenant Walsh, staring at the tactical display. It looks like we just tripled our visible fleet strength in 30 seconds. Actually, we increased it by a factor of 7, Marcus corrected. And we're just getting started. The Korthax fleet, which had been confidently destroying what they thought was humanity's last hope, suddenly found themselves surrounded by enemies that shouldn't exist. Human ships appeared on their flanks, above and below their formation, and even inside their defensive perimeter using technology that allowed them to phase through enemy shields, as if they were paper. War Commander Thaxgillith's confident expression transformed into something that might have been panic as his sensors suddenly registered over 200 human vessels where moments before there had been empty space. This is impossible, the alien commander snarled into his communication system. Your species was cataloged as primitive. Your technology was assessed as inferior. Where did these ships come from? Captain Rodriguez's voice responded, and Marcus was pleased to hear the satisfaction in her tone. Commander, we tried to explain that humanity doesn't make decisions hastily. We also don't reveal our full capabilities until absolutely necessary. What you've been fighting isn't our military. It's our neighborhood watch. The battle that followed lasted 4 hours and 17 minutes. When it ended, the Korthax Empire's invasion fleet had been completely destroyed, captured, or forced to flee. Not a single human ship was lost, though several had sustained damage that their self-repair systems were already correcting. Marcus finally allowed himself to smile as he watched the last alien vessels disappearing into hyperspace, carrying word of their defeat back to their empire. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity was no longer the weak, primitive species that could be conquered by any advanced civilization with enough ships. Admiral, we're receiving communications from Earth Command, Torres announced. President? Morrison wants to speak with you personally. The President of Earth appeared on screen, her expression mixing relief with amazement. Admiral Chen, on behalf of humanity, I want to thank you and your entire deep space fleet for the most spectacular military victory in our species' history. The question now is, what comes next? Marcus considered the question carefully. The secret was out now. Humanity's true capabilities had been revealed, and there was no going back to hiding in the shadows. The galaxy would have to adjust to the existence of a new major power, one that had just announced its arrival by defeating a supposedly invincible empire. Madame President, what comes next is that humanity takes its rightful place among the galactic powers. We've proven we can defend ourselves. Now we need to prove we can be trusted as allies and respected as equals. Over the following weeks, as word of the Korthak's defeat spread throughout the galaxy, humanity received its first diplomatic contacts from alien civilizations. Some came offering trade agreements, others seeking military alliances, and a few simply wanting to understand how a species they had dismissed as primitive had developed such advanced technology. Captain Elena Rodriguez found herself promoted to admiral and placed in command of humanity's now public deep space fleet. Admiral Marcus Chen became the first human to serve as an ambassador to the Galactic Council, representing Earth's interests in a political arena that was still adjusting to humanity's sudden emergence as a major power. The deception that had protected humanity for 2 decades was over, but it had served its purposefully. Earth was no longer a target for conquest, but a force to be reckoned with. The galaxy had learned that underestimating humanity was a mistake that civilizations rarely survived making twice. As Marcus stood on the bridge of the invisible hand, no longer invisible but proudly displaying Earth's colors, he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this moment. 23 years of patient preparation, hidden construction, and careful planning had culminated in humanity's greatest victory. The war for Earth's survival was over. The age of humanity's galactic expansion was just beginning.